Welcome to another quick tutorial on how to use 3ds Max. It's going to do a simple model here and pretty much to show how the program works. Excuse my computer, it's been a bit of a day. Alright, so I don't want realistic. Shaded. Yeah. So my graphics card on this computer is pretty shit, so you may have to make that change yourself. But you can select on any view here, these are wireframes. So whatever you model inside here will show up in front view, top view, left view as wireframe. But if you wanted to work just in the perspective here or any of the other windows, you just hit W, I think. No, I forgot what is full screen here. I haven't used Max in a while, so view, set active viewpoint. Alright, so I suspect if we double click, no, return, no. Maximize viewpoint, Alt W. See, that's how long it's been. So Alt W, you get that. To go back, Alt W again. Just allows you to switch between the perspectives. And as you saw here, you got a numerous different types of perspective and different types of viewpoint here. You can do orthopedic, top, bottom, front, back, left, right. Right, you can even go through cameras and lights depending on what you got in the scene. So I'm just gonna do a quick model here, and let's start with the box, and I'm gonna give it. I'm not sure which one is the height and the width. Yeah, the height and the length, but we'll see. So if I draw a box here, and then give it some height, that should do. Should not be able to see the stripes. Edge faces. There we go. So what do I need to do here? So basically I'm going to draw an axe or model an axe, and probably going to work in top view most of all. Rotate this 90 degrees. Undo that. I'm going to angle lock, angle snap, so I don't get anything but an actual degree here. And now it moves 5 degrees each time, and I can get to the 90-degree angle. And then I can center it as well. You can move through these here. I think it's WER. So I've got E, that's rotate, R is scale, and W is transform. If I zero out the transforms on the X and the Y, that is now centered. So for this is the axe head I'm going to be working on here. Let's see if we can change the. So I don't think I need the width. Or is it the height? So if you right click on any of these, it goes to the default one. So that's the wrong one. I want the lengths. The widths. I want the widths. It's the height. I don't want the lines on the height. So coming over here, and the sort of angles I'm looking at here, I could probably do alright with 3 on this side of the axe head, but on this side I probably need a few more. I think it's this one. No, it's the width. Yeah, give it 5 on the width. I should be alright with that. So this allows me to manipulate the shape. What I would do is switch the box for edited poly, and that way I can mess about with the individual vertex, edges, or borders, or polygons, or elements. And then I could select each, in this case, vertex, to change the shape of this box. Now, this side of the axe, you select all the vertex by doing that, and then hold Control and select a few more vertex. And you can see then I've selected not only the top vertex but the bottom on each side. I can now stretch these out using the scale tool here, and I want these wider like this, so I'll give it the shape of an axe. Then I want to use the transform on the rest here. I've selected all the top ones and the bottom ones, and then I just want to bring this out. Now I want to deselect these ones here. I forgot how to deselect. Is it Alt? Yeah, hold Alt and select them or deselect. So now only the center two and the two underneath those are selected, just to give this a more rounded shape. That looks alright to me. Yep. Could make it slightly wider. Maybe at this point here. Just scale them out. Give it more of an axe shape. And then the rear side of this, I'm just going to want to round this out a little bit. Not as much as the front side of the axe. So again, transform, pull all four out a little first. Hold Alt, deselect these two, deselect these, and then just round this out. So now we've got kind of an axe set type of shape here. But as you know, axes are sharp, and they've got a quite a thicker end at this side than they have this side. So this will have to be squashed here, and maybe on the second row as well. But let's give these a go first. Just going to select these here. I didn't do that very well. So when you're selecting, it's probably best to select in the top view, and then if you want to manipulate the height, just change your viewpoint to that and then scale. So now I can make this axe really sharp. I'm scaling it down like this. But as you can see, the bottom ones are not moving. I'm just scaling the top here. So I will have to move this up as well. So scale and then move upwards with the transform. Which again I should do from the right point of view, just so I can see what I'm doing. In fact, as you can see, it has actually moved the top up as well. But yeah, these need scaling also, drag and grab from this point of view. Pressing R for transform or scale even. Bring these down, make it look more like an accent. Right, that looks pretty cool. Right. Just making sure everything's kind of lined up. Got no stray vertices. Yeah, it looks good to me. So that would be the axe head now. And we could probably make the other side a little thicker. Excuse me. Maybe make it a little sharper as well. But I'll leave it like that for now while I work on the handle. So that will be our axe head. Don't forget to turn off the vertices selection here. You could even turn off edge faces, but for now I'll leave them on. So now our axe handle has got a slide in the thicker end here of the axe, which makes me think maybe the axe is not fat enough yet, which means we'll have to scale it a later date. Let's go and make the axe handle. So I'm going to use a cylinder, because with a cylinder you can put a cap on. Excuse my phone. Bitcoin is moving around. I get a notification every 5 minutes when it does that. So I want to pick the right size for the axe angle here. Doesn't matter the length at the moment, in height and that, we can always change it, scale it as well. And that will be our axe handle. Can we change any of these? We don't want slice, cap segment of 1, that's fine. So if you wanted a more rounded handle here, if you look from the top, you can still see the kind of square edges around it. If you wanted further roundness to that, you just increase the number of sides. But bearing in mind, every time you do that, you get more vertices. Height segments 5, radius. Probably bring the radius down a little. Maybe not too much. Give that an 8. It doesn't really matter in numbers at the moment, but try and keep it neat. Height, maybe a 75. And the rest is fine. So turn off cylinder before you do anything else. Or right click in the screen here. And what I want to do with this, transform and center it to start with, at least on the X and the Y. But it's also going to need a rotate of 90 degrees, so it's flat. Luckily my angle snap is still on, so I can get that exact. But then I need to transform again, so it's in the center. It's still in the center. So the rotate point on the cylinder is at the bottom here, or the center of the bottom. And with the boxes, it's actually in the center of the box, slightly different place. So let's move this down so we can kind of gauge where we are here. Where is the top? So the top is just inside the axe now. Let's move this to the side. And we can get a better view of what this axe looks like. There is a zoom, and I can't remember where it is. So here we go. We can actually zoom in and out of the scene here. By doing that, you can see the axe handle is a little short. We do want it slightly scaled on that. So let's scale that up. I don't want it coming out the top of the axe, but the axe head. Maybe something like that. If you press Z, you can zoom into the element that you're looking at. But yeah, it's best just to use the zoom here. Or if you got a mouse button with the center wheel, I don't on this laptop. You can do you manipulate the zoom with that too. Right. So looking at this now, I want this handle not to be as perfect and as straight as it is. So let's manipulate that. I'm on the wrong one. There we go. So height segments is 5 at the moment. I want to make this quite a crooked handle. So I'm going to give it 13 lucky number. There you go. And then I'm going to change the cylinder to editable poly. And that way I can grab vertices and manipulate them. So now I could grab single vertices and make it look more like a branch of wood. And I may do that in some parts, but for the most part I'm just going to grab a whole section of these verts and just shut up Bitcoin. Just move these slightly. Minus X. Too much. Alright, that should be alright. We'll do a positive on this one. Skip the next one and go for this one with a negative. And then this final one. Do a couple more on the positive. And we could even do the bottom one as a positive. Right. But also the bottom is a little flat. And I don't want it very flat. So maybe we could, I'm not selecting all of these, I want to keep the edges. I'm not doing very well now. So I don't want to select them all, I just want to bring some of these down on the Y. And zoom in and take a look what that looks like. Zoom in again. Yeah, so we've got a slightly less less rounded bottom. Maybe undo that. Maybe redo it a couple of times, just so it's more like a branch shape than a cylinder. Zoom in again. Look at it from another angle. Yeah, this will do. because wood's not exactly straight when you get off the tree, is it? So this kind of makes sense. But as you can see, our handle is slightly bigger than our axe head. So we can either increase the axe head size, like I said we might, or we could decrease the size of the handle. That wasn't good. Alright, zoom out. Look at it from the side angle. Look at it from this angle and scale it down in the X and the Z. The Y is the height on this one, so it would normally be the X and the Y, but to scale this down, still going to keep all the little, I think I went a little too far there. And then we can move it up with the transform. Don't worry about the color of the geometry at the moment. Let's take a look if that's any good. Oh, it's still slightly off. So I've lined that up by eye, but as you can see we're still a little off. Maybe we could scale this up. And this scales the whole thing, not just the vertices. Unless you select vertices, it deals with the whole piece of geometry even. And there's a basic axe shape with a basic wooden handle. It's not quite straight. But yeah, I think the handle is probably a little bit too small. Or at least it is now that I've moved that. So again, just on the X and the Z. See if that works. You really do just have to eyeball this, really. Yeah, again, we're going a bit big. And we're also not lined up properly in the X. You really want the farthest part of the X, so. Or maybe we will. Alright, again, just scale this up. Yeah, I think we got it. So there would be a basic axe shape. But now I would go in and make the axe head a little sharper. Which again is probably best to select from the top view. And then move on to the front before we scale. Almost flat. Looks good to me. And we could even probably pull this out a little. on both of these pieces here. Let's straighten it up though, so I know what I'm doing. You don't want it too big because the handle looks silly. If the head of the axe is bigger than the handle too far. Okay, so sort of looking okay there. And now we've manipulated all that, I think we can turn off edge faces. Get a better view of what it looks like without the edges. Skews a bit going. And let's select both and hit zoom. And then zoom out a touch. Alright. Going back to transform before clicking in there. So this looks okay. Say the head looks a bit bigger than the axe handle here, which is not good. But the Z on the handle yeah, the Z on the handle looks okay. So I'm actually going to scale in maybe just the X this time. And possibly the Y again. And just bring it down so you can't see the top. I think that looks more proportional than it did. Could possibly do a bit more on the X. And just transform it. I've lost my the image I'm working from. I got a 2D image I'm looking at with an axe on it that I'm just kind of creating for my, yeah, that kind of works. And that would be a basic axe shape. Now the trouble with this is it does not look anything like an axe apart from the shape itself. So where is materials? Let's try the wood first. I think this is the materials now. Okay, I actually wanted the smaller version of this material, so compact material letter. And we're working on the handle, aren't we? So what can we do here to make this look like wood? We can add some, so we could use marble and then make the marble look like wood. Or we could even use some V-Ray stuff here, but about the Perlin marble. Or do we have a bitmap of wood? That would be nice. Let's try the Perlin marble. And a apply it to the object that we've got selected. Assign material to selection, which is the handle at the moment. And show in the viewport. Show shaded material in viewport. And that way we can get a look what we're working with there. So this marble is kind of a wood kind of grain type of pattern. But we've definitely got the wrong color here with the green. So let's go with the gold. It's quite pretty. And maybe bring it up tighter. Yep. And then if we do the same here with this one and make it a darker brown, we should get sort of a wood effect on that. It's too much green in that. Add some red. Yeah, we're getting there. Maybe a bit of blue. No, too much blue. Take the blue completely out. We need a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of a wood shape. I like that. And it's kind of a wood shape, but what we've got here is 8 different levels of the Perlin marble parameters here, and a size of 50, so we can actually scale it. If I went to 0 here, as you can see, it kind of scales down, but excuse Bitcoin. Right. So maybe you can mess with the tile in here and get a different sort of pattern on it. That's not bad. I like that. And if we do the Z, yeah. And then you can even move the offset. What does that one do? That one takes it that way. I don't want that way. If I could do minus. And the Y. That's pretty cool. But the Z. Gone the wrong way. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And maybe do the tile in a bit. No, it's the wrong one. Yeah, I like that. So we've kind of got a marble wood effect. Excuse my phone. Fire was better. And can say can we do a blur offset, but these look okay. I like that kind of wood shape here. And you can even put maps on each one of these as well. This is 70 at the moment. What happens if we bring that down? Oh, okay. Get a darker shade of wood. About this one. Yeah, kind of like that. If we do, it's the wrong one again. We want the Y. Yeah, but not too much. Yeah, that should do. And the Y offset. Yeah, that's some of the pattern looks like wood, some don't. Yeah, I think that's perfect. What about the X? Looks alright. And the Z. Yeah, I like that. So that's how I would kind of get a wood effect here, but then you can add maps and you can actually choose something different than Perlin marble here. But anyway, let's work with that. And for the axe head, which I have to select it now, we're going to need several different colors, I think, but I might take this over to Photoshop afterwards and just add a little further colors. I think we could move that on a little bit further on. Right now. But again, you can just choose the map here. For this one, it's not a wood, it's metal, so I'd probably go for a gradient or fall off. See which one of these works best. We got the black and the white. Let's add that to that, and I think it's shown in the scene already, but who knows? Right, so we can add maps here, and we add a gradient here as well, which we can now manipulate. But how best to manipulate, that's the thing. Maybe fractal. Show in scene. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Let's move this over to the other side. I want to keep this down to about 45 minutes. But yeah, so there you have a basic axe. Now you could spend a lot more time on the material than I have. You could even spend a bit more time on the modeling. But I'm happy with that. Got two basic shapes, axe head, axe handle, and we've applied two materials to the scene, one to each. And got it looking pretty good actually. Can we change the phase? No, this does nothing. What about the amount of noise? Ah, okay. But size. And add a little bit of noise. Ah, it's a bit too much. That looks pretty good. And then maybe we can change the phase. Yeah, I like that. So that would be our axe handle. That axe shape. I really like the way I got that handle working. Even without a picture of wood. Which you could do, you could just grab an image of wood off the net and just apply the image to it, stretch it out, rotate it, etc. But yeah, without using any images, that looks pretty good. So now we'll be left just to render that out. But yeah, last 5 minutes I'll just show you what I would actually do here is I'll use the layer managers. Should be this one here. Manage layers, and then actually put these in maybe another layer. Create new layer containing selected objects. Yeah, and then just axe 1. And then duplicate the whole axe or group it even, which I think we can do just by right clicking. Group items, is it there? No, alright, can't remember how to group, but anyway. So if we did a mirror here, we could do a copy of it. We want to copy, do one across the x-axis, one the offset, so we're not, it's that way. Shoot. And now we've got a pair of axes. Just in case you're right and left-handed with your axe thrower. Alright, so again I would just grab these and move the whole lot to the center. And that would be the end of the tutorial there. We now have 2 axes with wooden handles and sharp metal blades on the heads. As you can see, you probably want to get hit in the head with one of those. Look pretty real. But yeah, this is a short tutorial on how to use max to create a pair of axes. Alright, join me next time when I'll make some other crazy shit. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, comment, fuck you in the comments or whatever you like. But yeah, hope you enjoy. See you next time.